say bookstore, but it's really our headquarters. We've just moved to our brand new space in Matthews, North Carolina, and it is a special night. If you've joined us online before, you know that at least once a month we are releasing brand new books, brand new stories of hope. And tonight we have our newest edition of My Hope Story, Volume 2. I hope you guys are as excited as we are. Volume 2. And we are so stoked because we have an incredible group of authors with us tonight, and they're going to get to share their stories with you, stories of hope, endurance. And let me tell you, you are going to be so blessed by this book in various areas of life that you are in any season. This book is going to speak to you. Every chapter is so well written, but also with so much life and so much hope that we really need in 2026. And especially in this season, as we're leading up to Holy Week, this is an incredible book for you to get your hands on in preparation for Resurrection Sunday, which I think is going to be a wonderful time for all of us. So without further ado, we're going to give you some experience with our authors here in the house. And we also have some authors that are visiting with us online. And we're going to go through each of not only the chapters, but give you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about collaborations and what we do here at Hope Books. We're so blessed to be able to host people's hope-filled words on a daily basis. And you have a testimony to share. And we would love to be able to partner with you in sharing that hope-filled message to the world. But without further ado, I want to introduce our first author, Ms. Laura Pettit. Would you please welcome her? She's like, I brought my cup. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Every time we have a collaboration, just our authors are just the best. And you are my sweet friend. She has been in the hot seat all day long. She gets a gold star. So if you're in the chat right now, just give her as many gold stars as you possibly can in that chat. She needs it. She gets it. All right. Laura, your chapter is called The Master Gardener of Dreams, How God Revives What We Thought We Lost. Why don't you share a little bit about your chapter with everyone?
Okay. All right. So, when you're a kid and you had all these dreams for your future, right? But then you grew up. And what happens? Life happens. Life responsibilities take a hold of those dreams, causing you to bury them, to just maybe defer them, or maybe you bury them and defer them because of fear or insecurity or self-doubt or disappointment. Life is hard, right?
Yeah.
So then there's God.
Yeah.
But God, we love that when we get to say, but God showed up. But you know what? He was always there. He was always there because he sees us. He finds pleasure in us. He finds pleasure in his people.
Yeah.
He created us and he just finds pleasure in us. And he desires to revive those dreams, to birth them, to bring them to life. He is the master gardener. That's why I called him Master Gardener, because the dream is a seed and we buried it, but the seed is never dead.
That's beautiful.
Because God is nurturing it. He's nurturing the soil of our heart. He's preparing the soil of our heart for those dreams, for the good things he planned long ago. Ephesians 2:10 is what I like to say my life verse, that it says that we are a masterpiece. He created us anew in Christ Jesus for good things he planned long ago. And that dream that he planted is never wasted. That dream that he planted, he is pouring living water on so that it can come to life.
Yeah.
Yet we have to acknowledge that God does not abandon us, that God sees us. And we have to just take that step of faith, that courageous step of faith. And so my chapter is about how God did that for me.
Yeah, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we were talking a little bit in our podcast today about we probably know more people that have had this happen to them than not, where you've had these ideas and you've had these dreams of your life, and how many of you can actually say things did not turn out the way that I thought?
Right.
And for many, it's devastating.
Yes.
Right? Going through periods of grief and sorrow that, wow, I thought I was meant for this,
right,
but my life has turned upside down.
Right.
But your chapter is for those who have been through what you've been through, but giving them a reminder that redemption is nigh.
Right. Exactly.
Redemption is nigh. And that he still has a plan for you.
Yes.
He still has a plan for you.
And he still is a God that brings resurrection.
Absolutely.
So he then invited me. What he did for me is he invited me to trust him in his timing, not my timing, because my timing is, it's not right. His timing is always right. And so he then invited me to take that step of faith, to trust his timing, and believe that he wanted to bring life to what I thought was lost.
Yeah.
I just hit my mic.
You're fine. But it was never lost. It may have just been hidden for a season.
Yes, because he knows the desires of our heart.
Right. He does.
And he is always working on redemption, and we know that love never fails. And so that's what he did for me. And so it's also an invitation for you. It's also an invitation for you to trust him and for you to take that courageous step of faith. And then he will work with you to lift up, to bring to life those hidden, forgotten, buried, or deferred dreams, because nothing he plants is ever wasted.
I love that. So what would you consider your one hope-filled thing? There's so many beautiful things in this chapter, but if you could choose one for someone who's watching tonight, what would that be?
To remember that God takes pleasure in you. He takes pleasure in you. He sees you. He takes pleasure in you. He knows you more than you know yourself. And whatever the Lord pleases, he does. And it pleases him for you to accept that invitation and to take that courageous step of faith.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Laura. We're so proud of you, my dear.
Oh, excellent job.
Excellent job. And she is 100% right. And it doesn't matter your age, your vocation. It really doesn't. All of us in a season of life, or many seasons of our life, may have found ourselves in a place where what I thought was going to happen or what I planned for did not come to fruition. And maybe you feel a little left behind or forgotten, even by the Lord. Well, that particular chapter is just a reminder that you've never been forgotten. The gardener is still sometimes just tending to things, but everything in his timing is always the perfect time, right, Laura? So the perfect time. So thank you. So I'm just very, very proud of each one of our authors. And there's a reason this book is called My Hope Story, because every single chapter is just heavy laden with the hope of the glory of who he is. And we hope that you find that hope tonight. You can grab a copy of this, and we're going to put the link in the chat right now. You can grab your copy on Amazon. Just make sure you get volume 2. You can get every volume if you want, and there's more that are coming. But for tonight's group, it's volume 2, this beautiful book that we actually have right here on this shelf. And you can also connect with each one of our authors as well through their author spot and actually purchasing the book. There's more information from each one of our incredible crew for this. In fact, I'd love to invite to the platform our next author that is in-house, Ms. Anna Grace Head. Yo, yo, yo. Okay, Anna Grace, your chapter 7, is called The Redemption of the Recovering Perfectionist. Here we go. It's going to be great. A renewal of grace and dependency. Why don't you share about your chapter with us?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, first of all. We're so
it's a
excited to
pleasure.
be here. My chapter is about the redemption of a recovering perfectionist. Hi, my name is Anna Grace, and I am a recovering perfectionist. My chapter very much centers on my journey, not just throughout my life, but primarily through being a wife and a stepmom, and what that has looked like in terms of my own striving and my own strength and self-sufficiency. It has always been a tendency of mine to worship at the altar of autonomy and to try in my own strength to white knuckle my way through everything. And this chapter is God's merciful untethering of me, undoing of me, so that I can be a vessel, an empty, broken vessel that he can pour his grace and strength into.
I love that. And through the process, because it's a process, right? It's not something that just happens. You don't recover. You're having to continuously fight specific urges and things along those lines. But what do you feel like is one particular thing you've been clinging to through the process of this?
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about this earlier in the podcast, is that this is definitely not I have figured this out. This is a one and done thing. I am surrendered to the Lord and everything is, hunky dory. It is a day by day, kind of moment by moment choice to choose a posture of open-handedness. I tend to be kind of very physical in my processing of things. And so, even just yesterday being in my car and saying, God, I cannot do this in my own strength. You're going to have to love through me.
Yeah.
And I want to do that though. I want to be perfect. I want to tie my worth and my value and my purpose to perfection. I want to tie all of that to my own perception and of how I perceive I'm doing in my life. But I'm beloved because I'm a child of God, not because I've performed well.
Right.
And that has been it's an ongoing process. I'm still in the middle of this story. I'm not looking back having figured this out. I am still in the middle of this.
And that right there to me is something to cling to. That we're all going through a process. Yes. It's not finished. We're still breathing. We're on the fresh side of the dirt today. All right. So we're still in process, and we will be until, we're perfected when we meet him in glory. So what is one hope-filled thing you would love for somebody to catch from your chapter tonight?
I think the one hope-filled thing that I would want someone to kind of just treasure away in their soul is that you do not have to resign the battered kingdom of your heart to the lie that your purpose and your worth is tied to your performance or to perfection.
That's good.
That your weariness, your weakness, your vulnerabilities, those are an invitation to just kind of embrace all that you aren't, so that all of who Jesus is can live and love and flow through you.
I love that. Excellent job, my friend. We're so very proud of you. Oh, so proud. So proud. There's so much knowledge in that. So much knowledge and understanding. First of all, none of us are perfect, and we are a constant work in progress. I guess that's the best way to say it. We are a constant work in progress. And if you are watching tonight, or someone who's really been struggling with perfectionism and been struggling with this mindset of, it's earning more to earn God's love, or working harder to get, more of him. Nah, he loves you for you. He created you on purpose for a purpose. And that's hard sometimes, depending on how you grew up and depending how you see the world. Sometimes it's a fight. And it's an ongoing process on the daily to choose hope, to choose sanctification, to choose refining in the fire, so that you become everything that he's called you to be and everything he's destined for you to be. All right, so we're going to jump onto our online group tonight. We have so many of our authors that are joining us from all over the United States, and they have all contributed not only a chapter to this particular project, but their hearts and they're hope-filled words. And we pray that they saturate your heart and that you find him in every word and every page. If you have not grabbed a copy of this book yet, is My Hope Story Volume 2. You can get a copy on Amazon.com. We are going to put the link in the chat, but we're also going to take a second before we go online. I want you to give a shout out. If you're here representing one of our authors and here to support them, would you give them a shout out in the chat? Throw confetti in the chat. Don't throw it at the screen. I'm just saying, throw confetti, cake, you name it, do a fun GIF, whatever it is. We want to love on this incredible group. It is not easy to pour your heart out on paper. And not only have they done it, but they've also worked through the process of refining their words and growing as an author. And that takes a lot of courage. And they chose to say yes. So that's something to celebrate. And that's something to give them as much encouragement as we possibly can. So blow up the chat right now from wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. So we're going online right now to our incredible group. And I would love to welcome tonight Miss Robin Heim to our crew.
Hi.
Yes!
Hello, everyone.
She is coming in hot all the way from Southern California. And the 3-hour time difference is going to get you. And that's okay. We're so glad you're with us, Robin. Robin, you are chapter 1 right out the gate. Your chapter is called Kintsugi. And I do believe I said that right. In the potter's hands, melting a broken and tender spirit. Why don't you share with everyone about your chapter?
Well, my chapter is basically about when you, especially as women, we're very busy and we have a way of always wanting to step up to the plate and get everything done. And sometimes when we put our mind to things, we also push things down in our life that we don't want to deal with. And whether it's stress, depression stems from all of that. And we don't want to be depressed. We want to always be smiling and doing for our children, our families, our friends, our coworkers. And what happened to me, which happens to a lot of women, I'm sure, is that your world implodes and you get a message from your body because your mind isn't paying attention. And it's dealing with depression. And surprise, sometimes we have to be told we have depression in order to come up to the plate and start dealing with ourselves. And in all of that, when there's a dark moment, it's good to remember that God is with you. He doesn't desert us. He's probably been waiting, like the school counselor who knows that you're having issues and he's just waiting in his office for you to come and talk to him. And so he can discuss with you exactly how you're going to get to recovery. And also to listen to the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit moves us. He nudges us all the time and we ignore it. And my story says, don't ignore it. You need to pay attention when he's trying to push you towards recovery. I was listening to Laura and also to Anna Grace. And as far as timing, with Anna Grace, we're talking about perfection. I think as writers, we all think we should wait until everything's perfect before we publish anything. And sometimes you just have to take that step and do it. It's perfect in its way because it's perfect for the Lord. He's saying, this is your time. And there was a devotional I was reading yesterday that spoke to 40 years. In the Bible, there's always 40 years out in the desert, 40 years having to wait to get to the promised land. And I realized that the point of my life that I discuss in my chapter happened in 1986. And I jumped on this wagon to get it published last year, in the last part of last year, not knowing that knowing that it would be published in 2026, but not realizing that I was on a 40-year journey myself. So I came out of my own desert and published this story. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Liz.
1 second.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes.
That's so wonderful. What an aha moment Seriously, what an aha moment. I know that there are so many, not just women, men as well, that are going to read your story, who have been dealing with the depths of depression and didn't even know it. And maybe they've been in their 40 years of drought and the desert seasons, and being able to come to that awareness of where I truly, truly am. I think that that's where God can meet us in the best place, when we are completely open and surrendered. I think Anna Grace was like, got to put your hands out, right? Completely open and surrender, but we have to admit where we are. We have to come to him. That's part of coming to him with a pure heart, clean hands and a pure heart, and saying, there's something that's not right, but the only person that can truly heal me from the inside out is the Lord. But we have to come to that awareness, and you so eloquently put that in your chapter. So I want to ask you the same thing that we're asking all of our authors, Robin. What is the one hope-filled thing that you would love for someone to get from your chapter tonight?
That no matter what choices you've made in life, no matter what avenues you have walked down, that his arms are open to you, and he's just waiting for you to come in, to step into his hug.
Everyone, let's give it up for Robin. Robin, you stick around for a couple of minutes, and we're so thankful. Seriously, if you're one of those that's really been struggling in your emotions, and you've been struggling with truly trying to get everything done. First of all, we can't do everything. We can't do it all. But what we can do is always place it at the feet of Jesus. And sometimes we need a support system to help us do that. Our authors are always a great support system. But just like what Robin said, you have a gift in you. You have words and a testimony that is meant to be shared with the world. And you know what? It may not be perfect. He doesn't want perfect. And we heard that from Anna Grace tonight too. He doesn't want perfect. He just wants your availability. He wants your yes. And this might be a great opportunity for you to start jumping in to the next assignment for your life. And we'll talk about assignments in just a minute. But the book is called My Hope Story Volume 2. You can grab it. There's a link in the chat right now. Give us a big shout out. Tell us if you're watching online, why don't you tell us where you're viewing in from, where you're coming in from. And if there are any of our authors that you are supporting tonight, we want to see your support happening. So I would like to introduce our next author to you. She is not with us in person. She is with us online, and we're so excited to have her. Would you please give it up for Lori Knudsen, everyone?
Hi, everybody.
Woo! Yay! I'm so proud of our authors, Lori. I'm so excited that you're with us tonight, and I got a chance to hear your side of the story outside of reading your side of the story today. I'm so thankful for those who are watching. It's truly going to be a blessing to those who really need to hear your particular chapter. Chapter 2 is Lori's chapter, and her chapter is called Finding Hope in the Darkness, Learning That God is There even when we think he's not. So Lori, why don't you share about your chapter with us tonight?
Absolutely. So my chapter reveals a pretty traumatic time in my life. I grew up in a alcoholic household. My father was very abusive. He went from being physically abusive to sexually abusive, and I endured that life for many years. And what happened along the way, though, is I realized that even though at the darkest moments when I thought I was alone, I wasn't. God was always there. God was always helping me get through that really terrible and horrific time. In fact, I shared this with you earlier today when we did the podcast, that the summer before some of the most significant abuse started, I had been at a Christian camp and was able to have Christ brought into my life in a way that I truly understood it for myself. And I think that was like this preparation, just placing him within me to get through those difficult times. When I would try to pray about what was going on and trying to ask God for it to stop, and it didn't in the manner or the fashion or the time. She was talking about timing earlier. It was really difficult. And I even went through a period where I stopped talking to God at all because I thought he didn't care. I thought he didn't see or hear. And And then I know that there are a lot of people who have been through similar things who have those feelings as well.
But we're on the other side of that through
Absolutely.
lots of processing and growth and even portions of therapy. And God has truly taken you to a totally different place. And I'm so excited for people to be able to dive into your chapter, because the hope that you bring through, I would say, some of the darkest and deepest depths of abuse, there's still hope. There's still light. And he's still there. And I think that's one of the things that, as you were talking with us earlier today, just that resonated even with me. The times that I've thought that, the hardest parts of my life, I'm like, where are you, God? He's there. He's there. Even if you don't feel him, he's there, right? If you don't hear him, he's there. If there's no possibility for us to even like have an inkling that he is even hearing us, seeing what's going on, he's always there. And sometimes we don't even realize it until years and years later, when we're out of those feelings, when we're out of those emotions, and we realize what he saved us from, what he's held us through, the comfort that he's given us. Is just astonishing to me. And I love how your story represents that so well. So Lori, why don't you share with everybody online, what is your one hope-filled thing you hope that they get from your chapter?
My hope from my chapter is that one woman finds comfort in what she thought she was dealing with alone. I've waited a long time to be able to share this, to voice it, to speak my truth. And in my story, it reveals something that helped make the difference for me. It was a voice that I heard, and I just want to be that voice for someone else. That's my hope.
Excellent. And if it just touches one life, it's worth it. It's worth every moment of it. So Lori, we're so very proud of you. Y'all give it up for Lori. I'm telling you, these stories are deep. They have hope dripping from every word. And every single one of our chapters is going to speak to someone. And our prayer for you tonight is that they're speaking to you. We want the hope to saturate to where you are. Grab a copy of this book, get it for a friend as well. Especially if you have someone in your life that could really use some encouragement, that really could use someone who's not in their situation to speak into their situation. That's what you're going to get from this particular book. My Hope Story, Volume 2. So before we go to our last author of the night, I do want to give our authors who can't be with us tonight a little bit of a shout out, because they've worked so very hard on this incredible project. So the first one being Elizabeth Bass. Her chapter is Chapter 5, Ashes to Beauty and Beauty to Ashes, an incredible story of God's redemption. Chapter 6 from Elaine Lopez, Unwinding the Grave Clothes, a story of deliverance and newfound identity. And I know even in 2026, identity is a huge thing. We're seeing it warped in a multitude of different ways. Elaine's chapter gives so much clarity to our identity in Christ and how we discover that, and unwinding the junk that has filtered our filter for so long and getting back to the feet of Jesus. It's an incredible, incredible chapter. And also Rita Dunham, she's chapter 8 in this book, Carried When I Could Not Stand, a widow's journey through betrayal, mercy, and divine restoration. So you may be someone who's lost a loved one, a widow or a widower, and wondering, how in the world is this all going to work out? Maybe you're going through a divorce, or you've been through a divorce, and you're like, how in the world, how can I go on from here? Take a hold of Rita's chapter. It is an incredible one of restoration, because there is, just like all of our authors have really hinted to, we serve a resurrected God, and he is still in the business of resurrections. He is in the business of gardening and tilling the ground and letting new things come come to light. And what a beautiful season for us to tap into this, especially going into Holy Week. I think it's an incredible time for us to be reminded of his sacrifice so that we could be saved and we could be freed and restored to our original intent. I keep going back to that lately in this season, our original intent. And so I would love to introduce to you our last author of the night. Joining us online, would everyone please give it up for Christy May?
Hey everyone.
So beautiful. Christy's smile lights up her room. It really, really does. So Christy, your chapter is called Where Hope Belongs. Why don't you share with us about your chapter?
Yeah, my chapter was really about an experience that I had during the really, really dark time of my life. I was separated from my now ex-husband. I had severe insomnia and some pretty serious health issues. And I really needed God to show up for me. And I really needed healing in that moment. And he really did. I don't want to give away the story. It's pretty special. It was a real miraculous moment that God did for me. But he showed up and he really proved himself to me. In fact, I think it was really pivotal in my life. And I look back on it as being I just like to remember what he did for me in that moment.
I absolutely love that. Remembering what the Lord has done for us can open our eyes to so many possibilities. But what I do love about your chapters, you do talk a lot, and I'm not going to share everything because I need to get this book. But you share how it didn't turn out the way that you thought it would. Right? Of course, everyone, when it comes to marriage, they want to keep their marriage together. They want to go through that process of restoration if it's falling apart. And that's not necessarily what God had for you, nor for him. But the restoration that's happened in the process has been such a beautiful one. And seeing where you are now, right?
For sure. Yeah. I would agree. Like, God did not heal my marriage, and it wasn't the thing that I wanted. But he's really, really worked in my life in so many other ways. He's provided so much redemption. I have a great husband now who loves me so much. I've just excelled in career, and I've overcome so many fears and issues and health issues. And I really am so grateful for that.
All right, Christy, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is your one hope-filled thing you would love for somebody watching tonight to get from your chapter?
Yeah, it's that others can leave you and they can let you down, but the Lord really never does. And that is truly where our hope can be found. And that is why I titled my chapter the way I did, that our hope is truly in the Lord, and he's never going to leave us or forsake us.
Beautiful. Well done. Well done. Christy, hang out for sure. As you can see, every one of our authors has such a deep, lush story of hope and restoration. And no matter what season of life you're in, this book is going to speak to you. So grab a copy for you, grab a copy for a friend. An incredible book to read with a spouse, to read with a young adult. Oh my goodness, young adults getting this book, they could learn a lot when it comes to decision making. And then also understanding, okay, God is in the middle of it. He's always in the middle. He's always working, no matter whether we realize it or not, or we feel it or we sense it. He's always there. And he is in the restoration business. So the book is called My Hope Story, Volume 2. You can find it at Amazon.com. We have put the link in the chat. And we're so thankful that you decided to join us tonight. So you might be asking yourself, how can I be a part of something like this? Well, it is so simple, because you have a story that needs to be released into this world. You have a testimony. And the assignment, I was actually telling a little bit with our authors earlier today, we're all called, right? We're all called by the Lord to make disciples in the Great Commission, but he also gives us specific assignments and seasons of our life. And writing is one of those things that we cultivate, that we grow through, and that we build in our craft. And that's what we do here at Hope Books. If this is something that you could see yourself really growing as a writer, really getting your hope-filled words out there, but sharpening those skills and sharpening the craft for the assignment the Lord has called you to be in for this season coming up and the season that you're in now, what a great place for you to plant and to grow. All right. So you would love to be a part of our collaborations. We have so many of them that are coming up, not only for 2026, but some that'll also be coming up for 2027. All you have to do is go to hopebooks.com/collabs, choose a collab that fits your hope-filled story, and click on the application button for that, and we will connect you with someone on our team. They'll have a one-on-one conversation with you, hear your story, and make sure that you're on the right path to growing in your craft. And we're so, so excited to walk this journey with you. Again, thank you all so much for being a part of this release day for My Hope Story Volume 2. It is an honor to be able to host all of our authors in this incredible space that the Lord has given us. And we're so thankful that you were a part of it. We'll see you right back here next month for our next release day. Have a great night, everyone.